Did you know? 7 million phones around the world find their way down the toilet each year. Living in an airplane flight path could harm your heart, and eggshells are being used to grow new human bones. In today's video, we've got 30 mind-blowing facts that will absolutely astonish you. Hit that subscribe button to stay connected, grab a seat, and get ready to have your mind blown. Let's jump right in. Number 1. Pointing a laser pointer at a plane is a serious crime. Drive your pets crazy with a laser pointer all you want, but never aim that annoying red dot at a plane. According to 18 U.S. Code Section 39A, if you point a laser pointer at a plane or its flight path, you can enjoy up to 5 years in prison to think about what you've done. Number 2. There's a reason there's a hole in your pen caps, and that's because they're a choking hazard without them. In addition to help prevent the pen from leaking, all of our BIC caps comply with international safety standards that attempt to minimize the risk of children accidentally inhaling pen caps. Some of these vented caps have a little hole in the top to comply with the existing safety standards. Number 3. Male puppies. Let female puppies win play fights. Chivalry isn't dead, at least not in the canine world. Male puppies will pretend to be more vulnerable and allow female puppies to win in an effort to keep the game going longer, so they can get closer to the female. And yes, same-sex play has been studied. When female puppies play with only female puppies, or male puppies play with only male puppies, everyone plays to win. It's only in male-female fights that a pup purposefully throws the match. Number 4. Copper doorknobs are self-disinfecting. Copper and its alloys, such as brass, have long been popular materials for manufacturing doorknobs. It turns out, this may not just because the metal's hue makes it look nice. In fact, the material has been found to kill bacteria. According to one study from the National College of Kathmandu in Nepal, the metal ions denature protein of the target cells by binding to reactive groups, resulting in their precipitation and inactivation. The high affinity of cellular proteins for the metallic ions results in the death of the cells due to cumulative effects of the ion within the cells. In other words, brass sterilizes the bacteria that can build up from all those, potentially unwashed, hands that grip it. Number 5. Playing the accordion was once required for teachers in North Korea. The most popular instrument in North Korea is the accordion. So much so that all teachers used to be required to play to get their teaching certifications. Because the accordion is portable in a way that, say, a grand piano isn't, it was thought of as the people's instrument that could be taken outside and played for laborers in the fields. Number 6. Humans aren't the only species to adopt. We've seen the heartwarming videos of dogs nursing baby squirrels back to health, and that's actually much more common than we think. It becomes mutually beneficial to have more furry friends in the group to take on other roles in survival, whether that be hunting, gathering, or just simply cute companionship. Though the phenomenon isn't completely understood, it's clear that both humans and animals have an instinct to care for others. Number 7. Cats once delivered mail in Belgium. In the 1870s, the city of Liège, Belgium, attempted to employ 37 felines as mail carriers, according to the BBC. Messages were tucked into waterproof bags that the kitties would carry around their necks. However, while one cat apparently made it to its destination in under 5 hours, the other felines took up to a day to complete their journeys. Due to the fact that the cats weren't particularly reliable, and definitely weren't speedy, the service didn't last very long. Number 8. The Iowa State Fair holds quirky competitions like a beard growing contest and a husband calling contest. If you've ever been to the Iowa State Fair, you've experienced the sort of carnival-based fun that it's been providing since 1886. And if you've never been to the annual event, then you should know that you're missing out on quite a few quirky competitions, including cow chip and rubber chicken throwing contests, a husband calling contest, and a beard growing contest. Number 9. Scientists were able to take a picture of an atom's shadow. Whether you're a professional photographer or not, you'll probably be impressed by the photo-related feat accomplished by a team at Australia's Griffith University in 2012. Using an electrical field to suspend a charged atom in a vacuum chamber, the team shot a laser beam at the atom and took a photo of the shadow it produced. While atoms have been photographed before, their shadows have not, making this accomplishment unprecedented. Number 10. The feeling of getting lost inside a mall is known as the Gruen transfer. We've all heard how casinos are designed to deliberately disorient visitors, causing them to lose track of time and where exactly they are. But did you know that there's a similar strategy behind the design of shopping malls as well? Officially known as the Gruen transfer, this phenomenon was named after Austrian architect Victor Gruen, who identified how an intentionally confusing layout could lead to consumers spending more time and money in a shopping venue, though he would later disavow the approach. Number 11. A woman makes custom dolls for children who have various physical conditions. Amy Jandrisovits knows that kids want to see themselves represented in the world around them, and that includes in their toys. That's why the Wisconsin resident makes custom dolls that have scars, birthmarks, various physical conditions, and disabilities that match the children she's making them for. It makes them not feel so alone, Jandrisovits told CBS News of her business, A Doll Like Me. Their logical brain knows this is just a doll, but the very innocent child part of them still feels like, now I'm not the only one that looks this way. Number 12. One country measures its gross national happiness instead of its gross domestic product. Since 1971, the country of Bhutan has rejected the idea that the GDP is the only way to measure progress. In its place, the Buddhist kingdom measures gross national happiness, GNH, to determine citizens' level of contentment. According to The Guardian, the GNH intends to measure the spiritual, physical, social, and environmental health of its citizens and natural environment. Number 13. Baby ravens were recently born in the Tower of London for the first time in 30 years. The Tower of London, a fortress that has been standing for around 1,000 years, always has at least 7 ravens. That's in response to a royal decree by King Charles II in the 17th century that said, the tower itself will crumble to dust and a great harm will befall the kingdom if the birds ever fled, according to Smithsonian Magazine. However, with there being fewer breeders around to provide suitable specimens these days, the tower's staff installed a new aviary in 2018 in an attempt to start their own breeding program. The following spring, 4 new babies were born. It was the first time birds had hatched there in 30 years. Number 14. Russia built a computer that ran on water in 1936. Before the miniaturization of transistors, computers had a much more visible system of counting. Things like gears, pivots, beads, and levers were often used, and they needed some sort of power source to function. Vladimir Lukyanov built something like this in 1936, but he used water to create a computer that solved partial differential equations. In images of the Lukyanov computer, you'll see a complex system of interconnections. Number 15. Staircases run clockwise. Spiral staircases in medieval castles run clockwise. This is because all knights used to be right-handed. When the intruding army would climb the stairs, they would not be able to use their right hand, which was holding the sword, because of the difficulties of climbing the stairs. Left-handed knights would have had no trouble, except left-handed people could never become knights because they were assumed to be descendants of the devil. Number 16. In 1956, 5 megabytes, 5 MB of data, weighed a ton. It was 1956 when IBM launched RAMAC, the first computer with something like a hard drive that we use today. By hard drive, we mean something that used magnetic disks. A moving head was used to access and write that data. At the time, it was considered a massive leap in mass storage technology because it signified a shift from punch cards and magnetic tape, which stored data sequentially, to randomly accessible hard drive. Number 17. Einstein's special theory of relativity. According to this theory, it is possible to go slower than light and faster than light, but it is impossible to go the speed of light. Also, there is a particle called tachyon, which is supposed to go faster than light. This means if you fire a tachyon beam, it travels before you fire it. Number 18. Only 2 mammals like spicy food, humans and the tree shrew. While humans have long had the rare distinction of being the only mammal that actually enjoys spicy food, that list has seen a new addition, as a study by Chinese researchers found that tree shrews have a mutation in their ion channel receptor, TRPV1, which makes it less sensitive to the hot chemical in chili peppers. As a result, the adorable critters happily gobbled up corn pellets laced with capsaicin, the compounds that give peppers their spice, while other mammals in the study avoided them. Number 19. Seahorses intertwine their tails. Seahorses tend to be monogamous and will intertwine their tails to stick together while floating through the ocean. Is it because they're cute and loving? Or is it just an evolutionary aspect of their species? The truth is, seahorses are pretty bad swimmers and spend a lot of time hiding from predators. Finding a mate for life boosts their chances of successful reproduction. Number 20. Living in an airplane flight path could harm your heart. While regular air travelers might imagine they'd enjoy living close to the airport they frequent, actually living underneath a flight path could shorten your life. According to a 2010 study published in Epidemiology, individuals exposed to noise above 60 decibels on a regular basis, like the sound of an airplane overhead, had a 30% greater risk of dying from a heart attack than those typically exposed to noise levels under 45 decibels. Over a 15-year period living under a flight path, that risk was up 50%. Number 21. Neuroscientists say love is as strong as illegal drugs. When you fall in love, the same part of your brain is stimulated as when you take mind-altering substances like oxycodone and cocaine. Your serotonin levels increase, raising confidence, your dopamine levels increase, enhancing pleasure, and your norepinephrine levels increase, boosting energy. But the real change that makes you feel like love is a drug happens in the reward circuit. The reward circuit controls risk versus reward behavior. Basically, when you fall in love or take mind-altering substances, the receptors in the reward part of your brain fire on overdrive. Number 22. The Netherlands gifts 20,000 tulips to Canada. Every year, the Netherlands send flowers to Canada because the royal Dutch family fled to Canada during World War II, and Princess Juliana was pregnant at the time with soon-to-be Princess Margriet. The thing is, if Margriet wasn't born on Dutch soil, she couldn't be considered Dutch royalty, so the Canadian government literally declared the Ottawa Hospital to extraterritorially be considered Dutch land. When World War II was over and the family returned to the Netherlands, Princess Juliana was forever grateful for Canada's hospitality, sending 100,000 tulips to them to thank them, a tradition that is still carried out, though with 20,000 flowers, not 100,000, today. Number 23. One person laid the seeds for an entire forest. Sebastião Salgado grew up in Minas Gerais, Brazil, a place full of beautiful rainforests. He left home to become a photographer, only to return to his hometown in 2000 to discover that only 0.5% of forest remained. Salgado founded Instituto Terra in 1998, planting more than 2 million seedlings of more than 290 species of trees and plants. In 20 years, 1,500 acres of rainforest have been recovered, and 293 species of plants, 15 reptile species, 172 bird species, 15 amphibian species, and 33 mammal species have returned. Don't let anyone tell you one person can't change the world. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss our videos. Number 24. One Italian town hands out wine like it's water. Fountain of Youth? How about Fountain of Fine Wine? Ortona, Abruzzo, an Italian town just south of Rome, has been a winemaking town since 500 BCE. The town installed a fountain that dispenses red wine any time of day, for the whopping price of $0. Spain has one too at the Bodegas Irache, located in Navarre at the foot of Mount Montejora. Sadly, unlike their Italian neighbor, it's only open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Number 25. All of the people in your dreams are real people. When you see faces in your dreams, your brain isn't making them up. They're faces you've already seen before, whether it was a fleeting second at a grocery store or a person you spend every day of your life with. You've seen countless faces throughout your life, so it's no wonder that you often think such dream people are random. But think of it this way. Countless people have seen your face as well and are randomly dreaming about you too. Number 26. Most people use their mobile phones while in the bathroom. Don't deny it. We know you do too. Surveys have shown that most people like to use their phones while on the toilet, whilst many of them have admitted to texting, emailing, or even making or answering phone calls. It shouldn't come as a surprise then that 7 million phones around the world find their way down the toilet each year. Number 27. In Iceland, safety is so strong that parents often leave their babies in strollers outside while they shop or have coffee. Imagine walking through Reykjavik and seeing strollers lined up outside cafes, each with a baby sleeping inside. Icelanders believe fresh air is good for babies, and with very low crime rates, they don't worry about leaving their little ones outside. This practice might seem strange to visitors, but in Iceland, it shows how much people trust each other and feel safe in their communities. Number 28. Eggshells are being used to grow new human bones. Chicken eggshells are mostly made up of calcium carbonate, a substance that also exists in human bones. That's why researchers at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, UML, believe that eggs are ideal for growing new bone for humans who have suffered injuries to their own skeleton. There is a great need for developing new and functional materials to repair and regenerate damaged bone. Golden Kamsiunal, a professor of chemical engineering at UML who led the research, told a local magazine in 2019, "At our lab, we like to take unconventional approaches. We look at nature and try to see what we can use that already exists." Number 29. Red eye in photos is a reflection of your blood. When the flash of a camera goes off, the eye isn't prepared for the sudden influx of light, and the pupil doesn't have time to restrict. You're likely using flash in dark lighting, so your eyes have dilated to adjust to the dark room. When the flash goes off and the photo is taken, your eyes are still dilated. So the light reflects off of the red blood vessels of the choroid, which is the layer of connective tissue in the back of the eye that nourishes the retina. Number 30. Pigeons can do math. You might think of pigeons as not that smart, but it turns out they're actually quite intelligent. In fact, one 2011 research found that these birds are capable of doing math at the same level as monkeys. During the study, the pigeons were asked to compare 9 images, each containing a different number of objects. The researchers found that the birds were able to rank the images in order of how many objects they contained. Put simply, they learned that the birds can count. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel for more fun videos.